Welcome back to In the Zone. I'm your host, Aaron Chun. With the first few teams officially in the baseball playoffs, the NFL in full swing, and updates in college football power rankings, we have a lot to talk about. In the Zone starts now. Joining me on desk this week is George Burk and Ashton Lagos. The first two teams have punched their ticket into the MLB playoffs as the Brewers and Phillies have secured their spots in the postseason picture. With about 2 weeks left in the regular season, there are still a number of spots up for grabs and some tight playoff races to watch. Can the Mets prevent a collapse of epic proportions and cling on to the last playoff spot in the NL? Will the Mariners upset the Astros and claim the AL West division title? Will Philadelphia be able to secure a bye in the first round? There's a lot still at stake, so Ashton, what will you be keeping track of with the playoffs on the horizon?
Yeah, so for the Phillies, obviously I'm a Philly fan. We all know that I'm a Phillies fan. I'm very happy that they clinched the division. And I was going to talk about the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
They are a really good team. They have good players. I don't know what Rhys Hoskins is right now, but even without him, they're still a great team. And I like to see some upsets. Like I would see the Royals in the playoffs. Like I would see like the underdog teams going into the playoffs.
Right.
Which would probably be a big Cinderella story.
Yeah, and I mean, there are a lot of underdog teams that are right now just around the edges of the postseason picture. You got, in the National League, you got the Giants, you have the Reds, the Diamondbacks. They're all right within a couple games of that last postseason spot. George, what are you seeing so far in the MLB postseason picture?
I'm seeing a good spot for the Phillies, I think, and that's with baseball and a lot of sports, I like to focus more on Phillies than the rest of it. So I'm always not great with what's going on across the country, but I think the Phillies are really strong going into this.
Yeah.
But they are also really great at dropping the ball at the last minute.
I mean, we've seen that the last couple years now. 2022 was a surprise for sure, but 23, 24 seasons, they were real big disappointment. But I think you guys are right. I think the 2025 team has much bigger aspirations on the line, especially with guys like Kyle Schwarber, JT Realmuto, Ranger Suarez. These guys have been key competitors for the last few years. And with them just about to hit free agency, this kind of feels like a make or break year.
Yeah.
Week 3 of college football is in the books, and that means some changes to the power rankings. Most notably, the Texas Longhorns have continued to falter as their quarterback, Arch Manning, continues to struggle on multiple facets. One quarterback who has impressed has been the Hurricanes' Carson Beck, who threw for 340 yards en route to a 49-12 victory against USF, catapulting Miami into first place in the rankings. Other teams that have taken notable jumps include the Georgia Bulldogs, up 3 spots into third place, and Tennessee, up 5 spots into 12th. Meanwhile, teams like Penn State and Auburn have suffered great drops in the rankings, as well as the aforementioned Longhorns. George, what are your takeaways from Week 3 of college football?
I think it's been a week of surprises. I don't think you've really been able to track. Every team's kind of been surprising me. I don't think any teams where I thought they'd be.
Right. And I mean, we only talked about a handful of teams, but there are a lot of other teams to cover that have made pretty big jumps up and down. I mean, I know Alabama's one that's jumped 4 spots, I believe, from the last week. Ashton, what are you seeing in the world of college football right now?
For college football, I'll probably say Penn State is doing really good. To be saying Penn State, they're not going to let their fans down.
Right.
Like they know they're going to pull out Swan. They have a good defense. Like they have a really good mature team of players. And Purdue, right? Yeah, Purdue is another great team. we're just going up there all going. Like you got these other teams that are really, really good, and Texas is not that good. But I kind of like the quarterback a little bit, but he needs to get better and better of the time progresses.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we need to see more of him doing very well.
I agree with you. And I mean, we're 2-3 games into the year now. Arch Manning still just hasn't looked very settled in. And I mean, he's getting better, but after that first week, the bar's pretty low down for him right now. And with Penn State, like you mentioned, they are a good team. They are strong, but they are not playing strong opponents right now. And I think that's continually been a challenge and continually been a question for this team of how are they going to do against some of those higher ranked opponents. And I think until we see that, there's always going to be some skepticism, but I do agree. I do think they have a pretty well-rounded team. Let's now send it over to Kevin Lynch for an update in Marauder Athletics. Kevin?
Thanks, Aaron. Millersville football team were back on the field last Saturday for their second game of the season. The Marauders had a strong start in the first 2 quarters as they tied up with Glenville State with 21 points by halftime. Overall, Isaacstein's 133 receiving yards were the most made by Marauders since late September of 2021. After a strong start, the Marauders ended up falling short last weekend, losing 44-28. Men's soccer lost to Seton Hill last Wednesday, losing 0-1. Meanwhile, women's soccer struggled in their 4th game of the season against Bloomsburg last Saturday, losing 2-3. Men's soccer will face off against Georgian Court on Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m., with women's soccer set to face off against Westchester on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. In tennis, the men's team are set to have their first game at Goucher College this Saturday. The women's team had their first invitational last weekend at Bucknell, tying 0-0. Now we'll send it back to the desk to take a look at the NFL. Aaron?
Thanks, Kevin. The NFL is back in full swing, and it was a week full of ups and downs for several teams. The Eagles and Chiefs faced off in one of the most anticipated games so far this year, giving us a Super Bowl rematch early in the season. The game came down to a painstaking pass from Mahomes to Travis Kelce, who tipped it right into the hands of Eagle safety Andrew Makuba. The rookie ran it back 41 yards, allowing the team to score on the next possession. The Chiefs scored with 3 minutes left in the game, but were not able to close the deal, facing the Eagles' infamous tush-push and causing their record to drop to 0-2. With this rematch behind us, knowing what we know so far, George, do you think this is finally the downfall of the Chiefs, or is this just a minor setback in the beginning of the season?
I think it's fully just going to come down to next game. If they can, because they're still a good team, I feel, but I think they're probably past their prime. But I still think they could have, sadly, they still could have a good run at it. But I think if they just need to get back in the swing of it, and if they, do really well next game, I could say, they could have a shot at it. But if they do poorly, I think it could just be the end of it.
Right. I mean, 0-3 would be pretty difficult to come back from, even with still plenty of football to be played. But I mean, you're right. They are
demoralizing,
still, they are still a really good team, but it is a demoralizing loss after a demoralizing loss the week before. Ashton, what are your thoughts?
I thought, we already know I'm a big Eagles fan. Fly Eagles fly. We're 2-0, which is very big. And if I was a Chiefs fan watching that game, I would be highly disappointed.
Yeah.
Because Mahomes was terrible. He was not doing really good passing. Kelce, again, doing what Kelce does. Butterfingers. He keeps missing the ball. He can't catch the ball. But I'm not a Chiefs fan, obviously. But answering the other question, I would say I think it's going to be a downfall for the Chiefs. Because they're a great team. Just saying, because they're a great team, and everybody's saying that Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady, even though he's really not. But they're saying the downfall. I think it's gonna be a downfall because I don't know what's going on with the Chiefs right now because of the way they're passing the ball and Kelce dropping the ball. It's gonna be a downfall. Like we're gonna see the Chiefs, a good team. What I'm saying, but then they go and mess it up. So
I mean, I think we've seen this in seasons before where the Chiefs kind of get off to a slower start the first half. They kind of think, all right, this is finally it. This is finally the year where, they're not in the Super Bowl. They're not going deep into the playoffs. And then we kind of see them pick up some life, whether it's devil sacrifices or some kind of evil dark magic like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but
we know it's evil.
It is evil. I'm not ready to count them out just yet.
It's very evil.
There were many other big moments in the NFL this week, including a devastating game for the Broncos, who lost after a penalty allowed Colts kicker Spencer Schrader a second chance to win the game with a field goal. Similarly, Cowboys kicker Brian Schottenheimer made a 64-yard field goal, the second longest in NFL history, and pushed them into overtime, eventually winning 40-37 against the Giants. Another late win in the week came from the Bengals, with Joe Burrow injured early in the game and just barely surviving with backup quarterback Jake Browning. He threw 3 interceptions, but also 3 touchdowns, the last of which earned the Bengals the win with just 18 seconds left in the game. Ashton, with all these tight games, what do you think this says about the teams overall in the league this season so far?
Okay, I'm going to go to the AFC teams. The AFC teams are good so far. Like, half of them are really good. Some of them are not good.
Right.
Because I've been trying to watch, like, other games instead of the Eagles, because I know I'm an Eagles fan. But for the AFC, I really think the Bills are a good team. The Ravens are a good team. But then, of course, you got the Bengals on the other side. The Bengals they're a good team, don't get me wrong. But I think, what I'm kind of surprised is the Commanders are 0 for 2, which is not really a good start for them.
Right.
And I thought they were going to do really good this year because I like David Daniels. But I'm not a Commanders fan, but I do like David Daniels. But and then go to the NFC side, like I say, us Eagles have a good start right now because we're 2-0, and then you have like other teams that are down there, like the Cowboys or whatever, and those Cowboys are getting lucky,
Right.
because they went overtime against the Giants, like, and they won, like.
Yeah. I feel for our resident Commanders fan, Liam Crane, wherever he is. To have such a special talent like Jaden Daniels and to watch him regress in year 2. But we are also very early in the season, so it's something to keep your eye out on. I know we saw it with C.J. Stroud in his rookie season versus the subsequent years for him. George, what are you seeing so far?
I think this is maybe the most even the league has been in a minute.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's no game this year where I can really think of, like off the top of my head, where it's like it's been a blowout. Where it's been, and we're only 2 games in, so so that could really change. But I think it's kind of showing, there's definitely some better teams, but I don't think any teams like an immediate, they're obviously going to win it this year,
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you guys. And I think we've also ended up seeing a lot of work from backup quarterbacks through these first couple weeks, which is pretty interesting, especially in week 2. But I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. I mean, like you said with the Bengals, they are a good team. They have a lot of good pieces, but Joe Burrow, if he's out for a significant portion of time, that's going to seriously affect them. And someone's got to get that whole O-line fired because, my goodness, Joe Burrow, if you need an O-line, Joe, call me up. I can help as best as I can. All right, now it's time to go out of bounds. An unusual sight occurred at the NC State versus Wake Forest college football game on Friday. During the first quarter of the game, smoke started to fill up the stadium, causing people to wonder whether or not they had to evacuate. But upon further investigation, the smoke was coming from a food truck outside whose oven had caught fire, filling the air with the smell of well-done brisket. No one was injured, and the chef at Chalk's Barbecuing Company was able to put out the fire himself. The food truck's iconic mascot also vaguely resembled the Pope, and had some people joking if the conclave had just chosen a new pope. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I saw a little bit of the clip earlier. That fire extinguisher is not big enough for that fire in there. They couldn't have gotten like a second person in there to help him. Now, George, if you had to open a food truck outside of a stadium, what kind of food would you make, and what kind of fire safety prevention methods would you have?
I think none, because that got that place on the news. If I had to do one, I think it can't be something that you can get in the stadium. So you can't have like burgers, fries, all that. You gotta have something out there.
Right.
That's why I'm thinking full chocolate cakes.
Okay.
No mini cakes, just a big
full chocolate cakes.
Full chocolate cakes. So
Okay.
it's like you can get a little bit, like you can get a little sweets in the stadium, but nowhere in the stadium are you gonna get a full chocolate cake.
I kind of like this idea. I think we need more dessert food trucks. I mean, think about all players if they're playing a game on their birthday. Team's not gonna have to make too much of an effort. Just send someone out with $20 over to the food truck. Ashton, what kind of food truck would you open up?
Not a food truck that will burn down.
Okay, that's
That's
pretty sound logic.
a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Like, if I made a food truck and it burned down, that's kind of.
It's
counterproductive.
It's a rough look.
Yeah, but if I was to make one, I'd probably say, another dessert truck. They like have all the desserts like brownies or like different types of dessert items and like for all the people to enjoy them. Instead of like making like chicken. If you make chicken put on a grill, you're gonna burn down the place.
Right. And I mean, so fun fact about me is that for 2 years in high school, I took culinary classes. And let me tell you, I've had some embarrassing days in the kitchen, some days where I really did not want to come back. Of all the things that I think stood out to me, though, I have to agree with you guys. We had a baking side, too. And some of those desserts that they were sending out with dinner service, oh, my goodness. Of course, they didn't have any extras for us, but, to each their own, I suppose. That'll do for this episode of In the Zone. For George Burk, Ashton Lagos, Kevin Lynch, and the entire In the Zone crew, I'm your host, Aaron Chun. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you right here next time on In the Zone.